Welcome beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Shan. Today I'll be showing you guys how I make this delicious jerk chicken pizza step by step, so stick around. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have some freshly washed chicken. I've got some blended seasoning that's going on there, so I've got onion, garlic, scallion, some ginger and some chili that I've blended together, and I'm rubbing it into the chicken. So the next thing I will be doing is adding some powder seasoning. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of onion powder. Then to that I'm going to add half a teaspoon of hot paprika, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and half a teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning. I will be adding also half a teaspoon of pimento spice, half a teaspoon of chicken seasoning, and also half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm adding half a teaspoon of salt, and then I'll be adding half a teaspoon of chili flakes. I will be also adding half a teaspoon of powdered ginger, and then I'll be tossing and rubbing all that seasoning onto the chicken and let it marinate for an hour to half an hour. Okay, let's start on our pizza dough. So first we're going to need to activate the yeast. So in a bowl or a measuring jug, I'm adding 1.5 cup of lukewarm water. I will be adding 1 tablespoon of sugar, and I'm using brown sugar because that's what I had available at home, but you can use granulated sugar too. I will be adding 1 sachet of the activated yeast to the water and let that activate for 15 minutes or until it becomes foamy. Okay, so the yeast is now ready and it's nice and foamy, and now I'm going to be making the pizza dough. So in a medium bowl, I've got 2 cups of bread flour. I'll be adding 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to gradually add the yeast mix to the flour using a spoon to combine the flour and the yeast water. You will have a sticky consistency, which is what you have at first. So don't add any more flour to that. Just let the sticky consistency stay as it is. That's how you need it, so it's not spoiled or anything like that, but that's what you need. You need a sticky consistency for your dough at first. Use your spoon to combine the flour and the yeast mix as much as you can, just to avoid you getting a really sticky floury hand at first. So I use my spoon just to combine all the flour and the yeast water until I'm ready to knead the dough on my workstation. Okay, so it's now time to knead the dough. So you're going to dust your workstation or countertop with flour. You want to knead until you have a smooth, springy, slightly sticky dough. Once you've done that, you're going to use the same bowl, or you can use a clean bowl. You want to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil before adding the dough back into the bowl. You want to put the dough back into the bowl, and you want to cover the top of the dough with a bit of the olive oil as well. Then you're going to cover the bowl with a damp cloth and place it in a warm room for about an hour until the dough has doubled in size. A great tip that I do is to turn my oven on a low temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes and let the oven warm up. Then I would place my dough inside the oven with the oven door open. So make sure your oven door is open. This is just to hurry the dough rising process. But I only do this if I'm short of time. So that's a great tip you guys can do. So turn your oven on a low temperature, get your oven nice and warm, and then you can place your dough inside the oven, but remember to leave your oven door open just to help the dough rise. Okay, so I'm also adding some 1.5 or probably 1 tablespoon of olive oil to the bowl. This is to help prevent the dough from sticking to the bowl. So I advise you guys to do that. And also I will be adding a bit of olive oil on top of the dough. This is to avoid the dough becoming dry. So that's why I add my olive oil in the bowl and my olive oil on top of the bowl, the dough as well. You want to put this dough into a warm place and let it rise for about an hour until it's double in size. Right, now it's time to bake the chicken. You want to place the chicken on a baking tray and bake it in the oven for 20 minutes at 200 Celsius to get that grill look on the chicken. Once the chicken is cooked, you want to remove it from the oven and place shred your chicken, or you can cut your chicken into small pieces. All depends on the size that you want to have your chicken on your pizza. Okay, so let's make our barbecue base for our pizza. So in a saucepan, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of the blended seasoning. I'm going to let that cook for a few minutes, roughly about 2 minutes. Then I'll be adding about 2/3 cup of Jamaican barbecue jerk sauce. Then I'm gonna add about 2/3 cup of tomato ketchup as well. Also to that, I'll be adding 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Then I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of water and mix that together. I'm gonna add roughly 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, some hot paprika, some garlic powder, cayenne pepper, and some black pepper, as well as some all-pepper seasoning. I will be adding some ginger powder as well. Just basically all the seasoning that I add onto my chicken. I'm going to let that sauce simmer down on a low heat till it's got a nice thick consistency where I can draw my spoon through the sauce and I can see a line in the sauce when I draw my spoon through it. So I'm looking for a nice thick consistency. This is a nice thick consistency that I'm looking for. Now this is my chicken out the oven after about 20 minutes. I'm going to cut my chicken into small pieces to go onto my pizza. Now the next step is to roll out the pizza dough on a floured surface. Remember to put some flour on your rolling pin as well. So I'm going to roll out my dough. This step, you can divide your dough into small pieces, smaller sizes if you want to make smaller pizzas, but since I'm just making one big size, I'm just going to use my whole of my dough. So a great recipe tip is you can freeze these dough by dividing it into small balls and wrapping them into cling film. You want to defrost it overnight in the fridge, and you can have pizza dough ready to use when you're craving some pizza. So right now I've just pasted my pizza dough that I just rolled out onto the pizza tray. Just rolling it a bit just to get my dough the same size as my pizza tray. It's not perfect, and since it's homemade I don't expect it to be perfect. It's not shop bought or anything like that, so I don't expect it to be perfect, but that is how I make my pizza dough to go onto my tray. So I also roll it out on top of the pizza tray as well. So now it's time for the fun part. This is where I'm going to add all my sauce and my topping on my pizza. You're welcome to add as much or as little sauce on your pizza, depends on how you like your pizza. As you see, I am smothering a lot of the barbecue sauce on my pizza. I prefer barbecue sauce on my pizza as base rather than the tomato sauce, so that is why I've got barbecue sauce on there. So as I said, you can put as much or as little sauce on there as you want. So once I've done that, I'm going to put all my toppings. I'm going to put my cheese. So I'm using Parmesan cheese, and I'm also using some cheddar cheese on mine. You can put as much or as little cheese as you want on there. I think I also added some mozzarella cheese as well. You can put as much cheese as you want. Depends. This step here is totally free to do whatever you want. You can put as much ingredients or as less ingredients you want. So here I'm putting all my chicken slices that I did on there. I'm gonna put my cheese, my sweet onion, sweet peppers, my red peppers, my sweet corn, and I think that's all I put on my pizza. But as I said, you can put as much or as little toppings you want on your pizza. It all depends on how you like your pizza. So personalize it as how you like to eat your pizza. So this is what I do. So there I'm putting some Parmesan cheese. I will be adding some mozzarella and some cheddar cheese as well. So yeah, this step here is totally free to do what you like, and add whatever you like on there as well. Now you want to bake your pizza for about 12 to 15 minutes, and then your pizza should be ready. And this is how I make my jerk chicken pizza. If you guys enjoy watching this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment and tell me how you make your pizza as well, and what sauce do you like on your pizza base. It's been so fun making this. I hope you guys are enjoying watching this video, and I'll definitely see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.